Hi there, everybody. Very good to see you.
Oh,
Hi there, John Mahoney. Hi there, Chris Schwab. Hi there, SR. Hi there, Rhonda. Hi there, Carla. Joan Denny. Did I say that already? Mark Gladstone, or is it Gladstone? Sorry I didn't get a chance to send what amounts to a promo, but very good to be with everybody. I'm going to pick up a little bit more from the touching goodbye the soldier gives. Hi there, Mary Frances. Touching goodbye that the soldier receives from his mother, and then read into the next section.
excuse me.
Hi there, Mary Frances. When he stood in the doorway with his soldier's clothes on his back and with the light of excitement,
Excuse me. Yes, yes, I'm just coughing.
with the light of excitement and expectancy in his eyes, almost defeating the. Can we get you some
No, no,
water?
okay.
You want some coffee?
No.
I always want some coffee. Hi there, also, Elise. Yeah, there's concern that you're all right. I'm not the only one.
Excuse me, I just need to get some water. But I have Daisy plumped on my lap.
Yeah, so that's. When he stood in the doorway with his soldier's clothes on his back and with the light of excitement and expectancy in his eyes, almost defeating the glow of regret for the home bonds, he had seen 2 tears leaving their trails on his mother's scarred cheeks. Still, she had disappointed him by saying nothing whatever about returning with his shield or on it. He'd privately primed himself for a beautiful scene. He had prepared certain sentences which he thought could be used with touching effect. But her words destroyed his plans. He had doggedly peeled potatoes and addressed him as follows. You watch out, Henry, and take good care of yourself in this here fighting business. Don't go with thinking you can lick the whole rebel army at the start because you can't. You're just one little fellow amongst a hull of a lot of others, and you got to keep quiet and do what they tell you. I know how you are, Henry. I've knit you 8 pairs of socks, and I've put in all your best shirts because I want my boy to be just as warm and comfortable as anybody in the army. Whenever they get holes in 'em, I want you to send 'em right away back to me so I can darn 'em. And always be careful and choose your company. There's a lot of bad men in the army. The army makes 'em wild, and they like nothing better than the job of leading a young feller like you. This ain't never been away from home much, and has always had a mother and learning to drink and swear. Keep clear of them folks, Henry. I don't want you to ever do anything that you would be shamed to let me know about. Just think as if I was watching you. If you keep that in your mind always, I guess you'll come out all right. You must always remember your father, too, child. And remember, he never drunk a drop of liquor in his life and seldom swore a cross oath. I don't know what else to tell you, Henry, except that you must never do no shirking, child, on my account. If so be a time comes when you have to be killed or do a mean thing, why, Henry, don't think of anything except what's right. Because there's many a woman has to bear up against such things in these times, and the Lord will take care of us all. Don't forget about the socks and shirts, child. I put a cup of blackberry jam with your bundle, because I know you like it above all things. Goodbye, Henry, and watch out. Be a good boy. He had, of course, will go on, been impatient under the ordeal of this speech. It had not been quite what he expected, and he had borne it with an air of irritation. He departed feeling vague relief. Still, when he looked back from the gate, he had seen his mother kneeling among the potato parings. Her brown face, upraised, was stained with tears, and her spare form was quivering. He bowed his head and went on, feeling suddenly ashamed of his purposes. From his home, he had gone to the seminary to bid adieu to many schoolmates. had thronged about him. With wonder and admiration, he had felt the gulf now between them and had swelled with calm pride. He and some of his fellows who had donned blue were quite overwhelmed with privileges. For all of one afternoon, it had been a very delicious thing. They had all strutted. A certain light-haired girl had made vivacious fun at his martial spirit, but there was another and darker girl whom he had gazed at steadfastly, and he thought she grew demure and sad at sight of his blue and brass. As he had walked down the path between the rows of oaks, he had turned his head and detected her at a window watching his departure. As he perceived her, she had immediately begun to stare through the high tree branches at the sky. He'd seen a good deal of flurry and haste in her movement as she changed her attitude. He often thought of it. On the way to Washington, his spirit had soared. The regiment was fed and caressed at station after station, until the youth had believed that he must be a hero. There was a lavish expenditure of bread and cold meats, coffee and pickles and cheese. As he basked in the smiles of the girls and was patted and complimented by the old men, he had felt growing within him the strength to do mighty deeds of arms. After complicated journeyings with many pauses, there had come months of monotonous life in a camp. He had had the belief that real war was a series of death struggles with small time in between, for sleep and for meals. But since his regiment had come to the field, the army had done little but sit still and try to keep warm. He was brought then gradually back to his old ideas. Greek-like struggles would be no more, and were better, or more timid. Secular and religious education had effaced the throat-grappling instinct, or else firm finance held in check the passions. He'd grown to regard himself, S.R. O'Brien, that is
That is funny.
so hilarious. It's got nothing to do with what we're reading, but that is so hilarious about the Red Sox. He had grown to regard himself merely as part of a vast blue demonstration. His province was to look out as far as he could for his personal comfort. For recreation, he could twiddle his thumbs and speculate on the thoughts which must agitate the minds of the generals. Also, he was drilled and drilled and reviewed and drilled and drilled and reviewed. The only foes he had seen were some pickets along the riverbank. They were a sun-tanned, philosophical lot who sometimes shot reflexively at the blue pickets. When reproached for this afterward, they usually expressed sorrow and swore by their gods that the guns had exploded without their permission. The youth on guard duty one night conversed across the stream with one of them. He was a slightly raggedy man who spat skillfully between his shoes and possessed a great fund of bland and infantile assurance. The youth liked him personally. Yank, the other, had informed him, "You're a right dumb good feller." The sentiment floating to him upon the still air had made him temporarily regret war. Various veterans had told him tales. Some talked of grey, bewhiskered hordes who were advancing with relentless curses and chewing tobacco with unspeakable valor. Tremendous bodies of fierce soldiery who were sweeping along like the Huns. Others spoke of tattered, eternally hungry men who fired despondent powders. "They'll charge through hell's fire and brimstone to get a holt on a haversack, and sex stomachs ain't lasting long," he was told. From the stories, the youth imagined the red, live bones sticking out through slits
Mm.
in their faded uniforms. Could I read, just to end tonight, and we'll have a new reading tomorrow on Memorial Day, Herman Melville's poem, Shiloh. Melville wrote, skimming, lightly, wheeling still, the swallows fly low over the field in clouded days, the forest field of Shiloh. Over the field where April rain solaced the parched ones stretched in pain. Through the pause of night that followed the Sunday fight around the church of Shiloh. The church so lone, the log-built one that echoed to many a parting groan and natural prayer. Dying foemen mingled there. Foemen at morn, but friends at eve. Fame or country, least their care. What's like a bullet can undeceive. But now they lie low, while over them the swallows skim, and all is hushed at Shiloh.
The swallow's skim. Wow. Beautiful.
So thank you for being with us tonight on our open book. We'll end just a little early. We'll have a reading for Memorial Day. Very good to be with you. I'm going to be on the road again, so it's going to be a little difficult. But we'll keep you informed. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Lucy Fellows and Carla Atkinson. So very good to be with everybody. This is from our friend Clive at Calistoga Roastery in Calistoga, California.
We have been busy, but it's been a very good book tour.
Yeah.
It's been lovely, actually.
Yeah, it's been fun. So thanks very much for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Take care. Bye-bye.